talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we're talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we're talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Wednesday? That means hump day. And of course, we here at the Tom Gulley Show, as always, hope you are receiving the full, total, and complete allotment of hump that you so desperately crave and you so righteously deserve. Tonight, let me tell you about Crayola. There's a bunch of Crayola behind me, right right? And I just announced it in ahead of time because a lot of you people are, always, one person in particular always wanting this. Tomorrow's show, I was going to make it was between Mr. Rogers and the Black Widow spider. And I decided, since today was Crayola, I didn't want to do two sort of juvenile. So Monday will be Mr. Rogers. Tomorrow night will be, or the next show, if you're watching this on demand, will be the Black Widow spider. You're welcome, Christian Slater. Before I get into Crayola, we do have some fine people here. We have a very exciting announcement of somebody who's here. Well, they're all exciting, but one's more exciting than others. Jared's here. He says, happy to be here. Happy to be here to you, Jared. And the lovely and talented Diana O'Brien from Shrewsbury, Shropshire, across the pond, has joined us. We hope you're feeling well and that you're doing well. And there you go. Christian Slater's here. We're talking about spiders. I wish you could find a better spider than it. Just blends into that background like crazy. Music Biz Marty is here. Says one more time because we play the show opening twice in a row because it's short and I like it. Terry Nee is here. Terry Nee is older than I am. Yep, older than me. He is older than me, and he will always be older than me. Anyway, Diane O'Brien likes the tune. Barnabas is here. I don't think it's Barnabas Collins. We did do an entire show on Barnabas Collins. The extremely intelligent, insightful Gene 1313 is here. And there's Terry Nee, says he's juvenile. I still do my taxes in crayon. How can you erase the figures in crayon? I'm just asking. Christian Slater says, my wedding was scheduled for tomorrow, but I'm canceling for the spider show. More spiders. Let's see. Killer's General House Play says, can't wait for the show today. It's gonna be a good one. I wouldn't count on that. Chef is in the house. Always good to see the chef here. And Christian Slater can't wait till tomorrow. Well, we're doing it for you, Christian, because you A, are quite a celebrity, and B, I think we've got, what's his name in here again? It's okay. We'll just get rid of him if it becomes annoying. We have the begging bar. Let's get the begging bar up. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. Those things cost you nothing, especially the likes and shares and the retweets. And they help our little show here so much, and they don't cost you nothing. They don't cost you a cent. You know what I'm saying? We have memberships. We do those members-only shows, exclusive, and it's only $2.99 a month. It's been called the greatest value in the YouTube world. And then also you can give by PayPal, which means I get the most and you give the most. And then there's our merch store. And by the way, I highly suggest you go to the merch store. I know I showed the logo for Scont recently, and we have a new line of stuff. And there's a way to navigate to the collections, and it's the Scont collection. Scont from Australia, and they're flying off the shelves. That is, if we had shelves. We don't really have shelves. It's made on demand in Louisville, Kentucky or somewhere. But the Scont collection, Scont, I would show it to you again, but as I keep mentioning, StreamYard, even if I get one of the bigger packages, only allows me to load in 10 photos. And I'm loaded today because I'm going to tell you about Crayola. By the way, at the end of the show, we will pin the link and you can be on the show if you'd like and say terrible things to me. Ready? All right, Dan. The Crayola company was founded by a couple of fellas. And for a company that makes what you might think to be just kids' crayons, that's not all they do. Not all they do. It was started by a couple of fellas. a couple of fellas. This fella right here, his name is Edwin Binney. Edwin Binney. And then this other fella right here, his name is Harold Smith, although he looks like a tycoon on Bewitched to me. But his name is Harold Smith. And you might think, what are a couple of highbrows like that doing with the crayon company? What are a couple of, let's get Edward Binney up there. What a couple of swells like that making crayons? Hey, they met during their time in the United States Marine Corps. Okay, so these are a couple of tough fellas. Tough fellas. And their initial products, after they got together and formed Binney and Smith, which is not a vaudeville troupe, it's an actual company, a big company. It was quite a large-sized company, but that's back in the days when the name of the company is the guys that made Sears and Roebuck. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the first products they made were industrial products. I don't know if you know anything about industrial products or not, but industrial products are industrial. They're tough. They're amalgamated. They're you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So Tom goes to the barber and says, give me the Harold Smith cut. Very true. Oh boy. Terry Nee says, I have my morning oatmeal in a huge Tom Gulley mug. I think didn't you get the 20-ouncer? We got a 20-ounce mug that we sell, you know. The place that does my mugs and stuff, they don't allow. It's like if I hold a mug in this hand, my right hand, and I want the logo facing out. But the way they display it, you can't do that. They only show this side. Why do I want to look at my logo at like less than? Anyway. So they sold industrial stuff, including industrial haircuts. All right. They originally made what they called colorants. Colorants, things that it wasn't paint, it was colorants. It was much more industrial than paint. Red iron oxide pigments that people would use for barn paint, and carbon black chemicals used for making tires black and extending their lifespan. So it's a little bit more than paint, and it had to be extra tough and durable, right? So they entered their process for colorants in a chemistry industries competition, because they had things like that back then, in the 1900 Paris Exposition under the title Carbon Gas Blacks, Lamp or Oil Blacks, Peerless Black. And this earned the company a gold medal in chemical and pharmaceutical arts. This is the company that's going to make crayons for kids. I'm telling you. But in 1900, that same year, they also added production of what were called slate school pencils. Now, you have to remember that a lot of teaching was done on a slate, which was kind of like a miniature portable blackboard. And they don't even have blackboards anymore, but that's what it was, a slate. In the old days, a slate, they would use like charcoal. And I mean by that, they would like burn a stick and just use the sort of burnt end of it on that. Binney was an experimenter, and he would experiment with all these industrial materials, including slate waste, cement, talc. He invented the first dustless white chalk. So like the first one before his invention, and I know you had a chalk tray and there would be powder in the bottom of it, but before his invention, there would just be dust everywhere when someone used chalk. And for this chalk invention, the company won a gold medal again at the 1904 St. Louis World Fair. And you're asking yourself, Tom, why are you telling us about all these gold medals? Well, that is going to become evident in just a few minutes, okay? In just a few minutes, it's all going to come together, and you're going to go, oh, I swear to God, you're going to go, oh. Diane O'Brien is laughing at the Give Me a Harold Smith cut. It made my day. They're He-Man products. That's right, Gene. They're He-Man products. They're not just... Jared's also excited about the spider thing. Oh, yeah, and Jared says, don't forget to up fingers. I could use those legs, baby. I could use those. Jared says we use burnt hypodermic needles in New York City school systems. Well, hey, Sky is here. I can't put his comment on screen, but by golly, he's here. Sky is an invaluable resource to me in my quest for more tech knowledge. There you go. Oh, by the way, Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream Zero. Change your life. So they get this gold medal at the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. Now, originally, Binney and Smith was a partnership because could those two dudes there not be partners? Please. They look like they were meant to be partners. Give me the Howard Smith. Anyway, they incorporated in 1902, and in that same year, Binney and Smith introduced a marking crayon. Now, this was not the Crayola crayon. Back in the days, they had things called marking crayons that sometimes tailors would use, or even people in large industrial pursuits would use to mark a spot or something was to be cut, or they were used to mark things for building and making, and it was sort of a utilitarian kind of crayon. Well, then Edwin Binney was working, let me get Edwin's picture up here. Edwin Binney was working with his wife one night, as you will. And by the way, her name was Alice Stead Binney. And back then, by the way, if you had three names, well, that just meant you were a little bit posh, you know. I have three names. My wife, Alice Stead Binney, thank you very much. Now it just means you're an assassin, you know. Lee Harvey Oswald, James Earl Ray. But anyway, he and his wife were just tinkering around because that's what they did. They were kinky that way. And they developed a wax crayon. Okay, and on June the 10th, 1903, a day that will live forever, they released it. It was sold under the brand name Crayola. Now, the Crayola name was coined by Alice Stead Binney because she was a former school teacher, and it comes from cray, which is French for chalk, and ola, which means oily, although it wasn't really that oily. But really, it was probably more because the suffix ola was popular at the time, around 1903, like granola, pianola for small piano, Victrola, the old turntable, Shinola, the shoe polish, Mazzola, the oil or butter at the time. So that's how the name got started. Now, they didn't introduce their product with just one box. They had a full product line. And by 2 years later, they had 18 different size boxes. Now, those of you who are familiar with Crayola crayons, you probably remember that there was a box of 5, a box of 8, a box of 10, there was a million different size box, okay? And they had 5 different size crayons. They had a whole bunch of different sizes. Only 2 of those remain today. There's the standard size, which is about 3.5 inches by about a 1/2 inch, and the large size, which is 4 inches by a little more than a 1/2 inch. The product line had boxes containing 6, 7, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, 24, 28, or 30 different color crayons. But here's the thing to remember. When these came out, crayons were not just for kids. Crayons were used for actual artistic drawings, the way people today might use rapidograph pens or markers or even chalk or anything else. Crayons were a very utilitarian thing. And so there were higher end crayons and there were lower end crayons. And there were crayons that you might use for school, which you might only need 5 colors. And then an artist, because they didn't have computers, they didn't have all the fancy stuff and drafting. Those people might need a whole bunch of different crayons. In fact, that kind of continued for a long time with Crayola. Okay? So some of them were made for artists, and they had crayons with no wrappers. The famous wrappers on Crayola crayons right there. By the way, these colors have all been discontinued. Let me just put that up there. All of these colors no longer exist. That's why I brought them here to the graveyard of Crayola colors. But these artists' crayons didn't have that famous wrapper that you see on there, the paper wrapper, okay? Others had a color number printed on the wrapper that corresponded to a number on a list of names inside the box. And some of them were like this with the actual color printed on the wrapper, which I think is the smartest way. I don't want to go hunting for what color is this inside the box? Do you? I don't. I think that's stupid. Sky's here. Hello. Happy to be here. Are you sure those aren't photos of Milton and Bradley? No, I think that they could be the guys that made the cough drops. I can't remember their names. Christian Slater says, "What was your favorite color gray?" Mine was cyan. I don't have a favorite. I treat them up. Payola, yes, Terry D. Payola, very popular for when you want to grease a palm. It's also for when you want to hear your record, and he's not playing it. Big Box 62, yes, Gene, we will get to the Big Box 62. Well, was it 62 or was it 64? I can't remember. But my photos here do. So anyway, you had all these with the various, colors. All right, so there we go. The Crayola crayons, there was a brand out of Europe called the Raphael brand, okay? And those were hoity-toity, directed at artists only. And so there was a line of Crayola crayons meant to compete with that. It was called the Rubens Crayola line, and apparently the crayons were sort of the pastel colors that the famous artist Rubens would use. But those boxes sold from 5 cents for a number 6 box. And by the way, the numbering of the boxes, you will see, if it's a number 6 box, that means it has 6 crayons in it. To $1.50 for a special box containing 24 different larger crayons. All right. So in April of 1904, at the St. Louis World's Fair, they won the gold medal for their dustless chalk, like I mentioned. Well, after that, Crayola made sure everybody knew about their gold medal. And they did this for a long, long time because it was a very, very successful strategy. The gold medal 8 count, obviously it's the number 8, so there's 8 crayons, and those are school crayons for educational color work. I mean, very specific. It had very specific uses for these crayons, right? It wasn't just a every day have a crayon. No, none of that. Didn't do any of that, right? And by the way, this was the prototype offering, okay? And it was always had this gold medal on it, right? Now, after a while, they also included, and it might be in here. See the one on the right? It's got the years on it in Roman numerals. And by the way, it's Binney and Smith, New York and Paris, manufactured that way. I don't know necessarily that they were ever manufactured there. They may have had an office there. It just sounds cooler. I think we can all agree with that. Binney and Smith purchased a major other competitor called the Munsell Color Company in 1926. And when they did, they inherited not a factory, not a patented methodology to manufacture these things. They inherited 22 new colors. Yes, 11 in the maximum and 11 in the middle hue ranges, right? So they kind of tried to market those until 1936, and they said, we're just calling them Crayola. 1934, excuse me. 1939, they had what they called the largest color assortment product to date. A 52 drawing crayon, 52 color assortment, and it took the market by storm for those people that needed lots of colors and needed lots of crayons. 1949, they introduced the Crayola number 48 that contained 48 crayons. Oh, by the way, here's that. Remember that Rubens line I spoke of earlier? This is it. This is the actual Rubens line of crayons. Anyway, the 1949 Crayola number 48 had 48 crayons in it, and it was significant because it was in what they called a floor box. It was in a stand-up box, right? Now, and I think my good friend Gene 1313 will be thrilled by this. In 1958, yes, the introduction of the 64 color pack that included the company's first crayon sharpener built into the box. Look at that. And man, any of you that had to have crayons when you were a kid, we all did, that sharpener, if you knew a kid with the 64 box, or maybe the teacher had one or something, you really needed that sharpener, man. Remember trying to draw in the fine lines of something with that rounded nub? It just didn't work. By the way, the 64 color box was called a watershed moment in the history of crayons by the Smithsonian Museum. I'm just telling you what they said, man. You know? I'm just telling you what they said. Yeah. Crayola crayons were introduced into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 1998, which seems long overdue to me. They were like 95 years old. On January 1st, 2007, Binney and Smith reorganized as Crayola LLC to reflect the company's #1 brand. And so there you go. Now, crayon packs vary. Crayola packs, that is, to just a few. And I'm sure you've been, or maybe you've got kids and you took them. You go to a restaurant and there's a placemat that's got the fun things for the kids to, and it's a little 3 crayon set or 5 or 4. They range from that to, there is an 832 crayon class pack, bulk boxes marketed to schools. So clearly that's like you sell all those and they probably don't have, basically there's like 40 reds and 40, you know what I'm saying? You just give them to the school and the school doles them out to the teachers. The colors contained in a package have ranged from 2 to 200, although the 200 color package get this, includes special effect crayons like glitters and neons. Okay? The most common retail packages are 8, they're in multiples of 8, 8, 16, 24, 32, 48, 64, 96, and the 120 pack being marketed today. A 150 pack featuring a plastic telescope-like case, was introduced in 2006 and includes 118 regular color crayons, 16 glitters, and 16 metallic effects crayons. And it has a built-in sharpener at the apex of the tower. What do you think of that? Would you like to see it? I thought you would, so here it is. There you go. That's like a telescopic thing with the... Look, can we all just say it? This is what the rich kid has, right? Not kids like you and me that had the 8-pack and we just got by. We just made do. Sometimes we had the broken ones from our older and younger brothers and sisters. That's what we did. We were tough. You know what I mean? We knew how to get by. We were from around the way. That's where we were from. Yeah. Hold on. I got to add another thing here. I have to remove a file so I can add a file. And I think it's wrong. I think I ought to be able to load 20 things in here. By the way, I'm using the free version of StreamYard because I refuse to pay for the version I was paying for because it screws up all the time. Now I've got light right in my eyes, and why don't I just... And so, guess how many pictures I can put in here? I can put 10 in right now, the free version. If I pay them $50 a month, do you know how many pictures I can load in here? 10. Why would I pay for it? Nobody would. That's crazy. As the size of Crayola crayon packs increased from the original 1903 packs, the variety of colors has also increased. And there's 120 colors now available. Some new colors have been added. Some have been replaced. For instance, on March 31st, 2017, Crayola announced that Dandelion would be retired. And they replaced it with Beautiful, which is just a dumb word that nobody cares. And, yeah. I could tell you the backstory about the Beautiful, but it's so boring, I don't really want to. Okay, so you got your... original 1903, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, or purple, brown, and black. Okay, and then in 1930, they added for a 16-pack 6 new colors: carnation pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, red, violet, and then white, which was always the dumbest of the crayon colors. Your greens and your reds and your blues would be onto a nub, and your white would hardly have been used. And then they added 8 more for a 24-pack, and that's the way it remained until 2017. Violet, red, scarlet, yellow, green, yellow, cerulean, dandelion, indigo, apricot, and gray. And we all know gray is just black and white's dirty cousin, right? I mean, we all know that, right? We learned that in school. Didn't we? So there's the color chart. Boy, there's some cultural impacts of Crayola that I'm going to tell you about. But first, I'm going to say like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. Do all of those free things that you can do to help our show. And then memberships, $2.99 a month. And then we'll happily take your super chat. There's PayPal if you like to just give money and not have YouTube get any of it. I'm fully on board with that. And then our merchandise store. It's all in the description, where you can get yourself a Scont t-shirt. Let me see something here real quick. I want to make sure I turned on the donation thing. I left it off the other day. Not that anybody donates to this show anyway, which is the reason I'll stop doing it again in a couple months. Just so you know in advance. In case you were wondering in advance, that's why that'll occur. Come on, show me the chat room. Here we go. Publicly. Oh yeah, you can donate. You can give cash. We accept cash. All right. Cultural significance of the crayon. The Smithsonian National Museum of American History maintains a collection of Crayola crayons founded by an original 64-color box donated by Binney and Smith in 1998. So it's an original 64. The collection now includes more than 300 boxes of crayons. It has been featured in segments from popular TV shows like Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and significantly, and by the way, Mr. Rogers will be the subject of our show on Monday because tomorrow is the Black Widow Spider. The official 100 billionth crayon molded by the Crayola company was molded by Fred Rogers himself. Yes! Postal Service has issued stamps commemorating Crayola. Yeah. Some of you will hate this. Crayola held a Crayola Color Census 2000 promotion in which Americans were asked to vote for their... No, this is actually a good one. Americans were asked to vote for their favorite crayon color. Celebrity entrants included George W. Bush. He chose Bluebell, probably because he's from Texas and Bluebell is the flower, I think. Tiger Woods chose Wild Strawberry. Courtney Cox chose red because she's smoking hot, and red is the best color in the universe because it's the color of Ball State University and Arsenal. Overall, blue came in first, cerulean second, Purple Heart was third. Now, there's a thing called the Crayola Experience, and it started out in Easton, Pennsylvania, right? And it is a giant warehouse with events, cafe, store, attractions, and the history of Crayola products. There's a discovery center that showcases the manufacturing process of crayons. There's a Crayola Hall of Fame in which the retired crayons are displayed. In October of 2003, and that's what you're looking at right now, the Crayola Experience unveiled the world's largest crayon, a 15-foot-long crayon weighing 1,500 pounds as part of its 100-year celebration. The giant crayon, which is 16 inches in diameter, is blue and was made out of leftover crayon bits that they call leftolas, sent in by children from across the United States. Now, the first Crayola Experience, as I mentioned, was in Two Rivers Landing in Easton, Pennsylvania. They've opened up other locations, the Florida Mall in Orlando, the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota, the shops at Willow Bend, Plano, Texas, and March 18th in fifth location in the Chandler Fashion Center, Chandler, Arizona. 5 new locations are planned to open by 2027. The 6th location will open in 2025 in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, where Dolly Parton resides or has her little thingy-bing-bing there. Now, Crayola, although in the early days was used by artists and fine artists, that has dwindled somewhat. However, there are several professional artists that have specialized in using Crayola crayons as their primary medium, the most famous of which would be Don Marco, who uses Crayola crayons and construction paper, and he has sold over 1 million prints of his original artworks. I just want to let you know real quickly before we sort of tie things up, Crayola produces a broad range of other products, some of which you know. One of which is called Silly Putty. Crayola is the one that owned Silly Putty. The Portfolio series is water-soluble oil pastels, watercolors, drawing pencils, and colored pencils, and acrylic paints for artists and educators. A lot of people that do fine arts in those mediums do use the Portfolio series. There's a thing called Silly Scents, which is a line of scented crayons, markers, colored pencils, clay, and paint, which I think is just kind of gross. They had a video game. Kellogg's made a Crayola fruit-flavored cereal, which is wrong. In the 1996-97 season, Crayola promoted Christmas lights using its name with colors such as pink, orange, blue, green, red, and more. Yep. Now, when they said Crayola was manufactured in New York and Paris, I don't think that was necessarily true. I think that's PR. But Crayola has manufacturing plants in Forks Township, Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Lindsay, Ontario, up there in Canada, and in Mexico City. The colored pencils that Crayola sells are made by Faber-Castell in Brazil. And that really and truly, by the way, I'll just show you this number 52 thing that I didn't show you when I was on my rant about crayons. That is all I have to tell you about Crayola, unless you, of course, have questions, in which case I'll answer your questions. But that's pretty much all I got, man. I'm pretty much crayoned out. I'm going to get to your comments just a second as soon as I pin the link. Everyone knows how I enjoy to pin the link so that no one will use it. And I will sit here and vamp for 24 minutes, as is my way. Bereft of any super chats, bereft of any memberships or other donations. Yipe. Why would there be a pre-roll running during my show? Why would that be happening? To me, the guy that runs the show. YouTube, are you not smart enough to notice that it's me? I'm the guy. Would you please? I'm the guy. Do you not know that? I'm logged in. You should go, oh, we probably don't need to play an ad for the guy that's creating this stream. He may indeed have better things to do with his time. That's what I would think. I pinned the link. Let's get to some of your stuff here. Oh, boy, there's a lot more than I thought there would be. By the way, if ever... If you're ever in need of a little sprucing up, just walk into the barber shop and say, give me the Harold Smith. Julian Caesar, I'm going to love you forever for that, man. That's funny. Let's see what we got here. Big box. Like trying to find the right Pantone color out of the book. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Periwinkle is the best color. And if it's not the best color, it's the best name of a color. Would you call it blue or purple? You might call it hazel. Who knows? Hey, it's Johnny Brooks. Johnny, Gully Head for life. Yes, it's either Gullerino, Gully Head, Gully Gang, or Flock of Sea Gullies. I couldn't imagine having to carry that to school. Well, you only carried it once. And then usually... if you didn't have a locker or something to lock up, the teacher kept it for you. You guys, I'm going to keep Jason's crayons over here because he has a lot of them, and I don't want them getting mixed up with any of you other children's crayons. His is good and nice. Yeah, that's a ridiculous price for a paid service. It's $50. It used to be $20, and it was worth it. You know, it's kind of worth it. But then they raised it to $49.99, I think. It might be $44.99, I can't remember. And you got very little more features. Like you couldn't send it. Like I'm using the free version. Only place I can send it is to YouTube. I can only send it to one place. If I pay the $50, I can send it to 3. Wow. I'm at 720. If I pay the amount, I can be at 1080. Do I need to be for this show? I would rather be, sure. But you get unlimited if you pay the money. If you just do the free version, you get 20 hours a month. Well, I'm doing 4 shows a week now. I used to do 5. But even if I did 5 and they were all an hour apiece times 4, I'm good. Now that I only do 4 shows a week, I do 16. I got plenty of time left over. Making some lobster tails. Now, see, as long as you don't make soup out of those, you're fine, Chef. Mike Rodick. And by the way, we love hearing how that Diana O'Brien is back and well. Maybe she went back to bed. It's really late over there in the UK. But Diana O'Brien, we're praying for you, baby. We're all thinking good thoughts. Mike Rodick says, I found out when I was 6 that burnt orange does not, in fact, taste like a combination of red, brown, and orange. Yeah, don't eat the crayons, Coach. I was going to mention that at the start of the show, but I thought, why be mean to people? But don't be the guy that eats crayons, please. They seem like they would taste good. I'm not saying they don't, but don't eat crayons, please. You end up with the crayon in your... Please don't do that. Not for my sake, but for yourself. Hey, I'm Sky says, I think I went to the one in Pennsylvania as a kid. That was ages ago. Well, I think it's only been there since 2013 or so. So 12 years ago, that might be ages to a youngster like yourself. What was I doing in 2013? Pray tell me. I was living in Arlington. I was working for FYI. Barnabas has got some applause there. Thank you, Barnabas. Appreciate your applause. Coloring books are making a comeback. Really? That's cool. They have 50 and you have a limit on images. Well, here's the deal. You can put 10 images in, and that's all you could do at first. And at first, you had to convert those images into PDFs. So as we all know, everybody has their images. You could use Google Slides and have 10, or you could take your JPEGs and convert them to a PDF. So all the JPEGs that I get from all these, Creative Commons, right, free type places, I had to take them before the start of the show into preview and convert them all into PDFs. Well, then at a certain point, they said, oh, you can just use plain images, but you can only have 10. Yeah, leave the crayon eating to the Marines. Yeah, Edwin Binney and Harold Smith. They were crayon eaters from way back. Okay, so Diana O'Brien is recovering from a second round of chemo today. A little rough, but have a break of 2 weeks. Diane, that's good to hear. That's good. We're just going to keep good thoughts, positive thoughts, as always, as always, as always. We miss you every day. We understand you can't be here. It's a very tiring process. Understand that. Also, the show's not that good. There's that to consider. But love it when you're here, when you can be. We're all keeping a good thought for you. Gene1313 says, if you light a crayon, it lasts longer than most candles. Yes, you can light those crayons. And I think for a while, didn't they make Crayola candles? I think I remember seeing them in stores. Now, by the way, Crayola is currently owned by Hallmark. The good people at Hallmark, who I want to say they bought them in 1984. They're their own division, don't you know? By the way, did you guys notice how I fixed that? Anyway, if you didn't notice that I fixed that, I hope you get the spoon of gloom. Whoops. Yeah, I guess so. Didn't shave before the show. Sorry. So I've pinned the link, and it's a quarter till. And tomorrow's show will be about the Black Widow spider. It will be. Let me just see what... let's see how much I got to work with here, because I'm going to be looking at this after the show's over. Ooh. Why don't they just give me one? I'm already sad that I did this. Oh, maybe I'm not. Well, all of them are. I'm not going to break these up into Black Widow and Brown Widow. Well, maybe I would. No, I probably will. Yeah, it's looking like I will. Jesus, God. Okay, I just got the creeps real bad. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Okay, I can do that. So tomorrow we're doing the Black Widow Spiders. Let's see here. Gene1313 says, Diana, stay strong. Please do that. And Diana, if at some point, because of the chemotherapy, they tell you that you're going to start losing your hair, or that you need a shorter haircut, just go in there and tell them you want the Harold Smith, like I do. Do that. Julian Zeezer, that's the funniest thing that's been said on this show in a long time. Now I need to grow the mustache, I guess, if I really want to. Did I show you this? This is the outside of the Crayola experience. There, look at this. We've got Diana O'Brien showed up, and then another legend. SG Fanboy is here. For the love of Mike, this is quite a day. I'll tell you what, Diana O'Brien's laughing. Christian Slater says, so excited for tomorrow. Yes, we're gonna cover, Christian, this ought to make you so happy. This really ought to make you super, super happy. We're not just covering the Black Widow spider. We will cover the whole Latrodectus, all of the widow spiders. Of course, for marketing purposes, I'll only show and advertise a Black Widow spider, but, you know, we're going to cover all of them. People saluting SG Fanboys. Are you back to doing daily shows? Just Monday through Thursday and the occasional weekend members only. Thank you for asking, SG Fanboy. There's Christian Slater with yet more spiders. And like I said, 13 minutes to go. You know, there's a chance there won't be a show tomorrow. We haven't gotten any super chats. I haven't seen any new memberships. You know, guys, just a little something for the effort. You know, 0 is a little tough to deal with. Come on. Come on. The whole widow family not going to be able to sleep tonight. Well, try. Got the PayPal, the merchandise store. I should at least be able to clear the payment threshold of $100 a month. Mersh gets more than that. You people shouldn't be able to sleep with yourselves knowing that I make less than Mersh. There's Terry Nee with his always. Okay, there's definitely a show tomorrow now. 99 cents. Why, after PayPal, sorry, after YouTube takes their 30%, I'm going to make 60 cents on that thing. Christian Slater said, thank you, by the way, Terry Nee. And I sincerely mean that, because if somebody was to give me 99 cents a day, every day, for all 20 shows, that'd be around $20, and then now we're talking. But I'm not going to clear the threshold this month. I'm only at like $57 or some crazy thing like that. Christian Slater says, my Mr. Robot residual check should be in tomorrow's mail. Well, let's hope so. Because I'm doing a whole show just because you said so. You shouldn't. Mersh, really? You guys shouldn't be able to sleep with yourselves. If you're really fans of this show, give Tom all your money. Not all your money. Just a little. Just a membership. Just get a membership. $2.99 a month. That's all. That's all. You do that, and I'm good. Once a month, $3, you're done. When I complain about it like this, you can just say, hey, I'm a member. I'm already a member. I have pinned the link, by the way. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. You can at least do that. They're all free. You can like it, right? Come on. I hate to beg like this, but you make me. If I don't, then it's just... Hey, Terry Nee is gifted 1 membership. Somebody's going to have to... somebody's going to have to tell me who got the membership. Oh, and Jared's a new member. Dang. Terry, tell me who got the membership, by the way. I'm not on YouTube. Do you think Scott eats crayons? I saw him lately. I think he eats anything you put in front of him. And if you put ranch dressing on a box of crayons, yeah, he would definitely, he'd blow through that pretty quickly. Terry Nee says, yes. Who got the freebie membership? I hope it's somebody that hates my guts. Oh, is it Jared? Is Jared the new member? Oh, technically I renewed my membership. Okay. Fanboy, SG Fanboy got it. Yes! I love it because most of the people that subscribe hate my guts. No, I know you paid, Jared. You're a good man, Jared. I don't care what anybody says around about you. Mm-hmm. Incidentally, Jared, I went into the VC of that Discord yesterday, and if you were there, which I think you might have been, you didn't say a word. I said hi to you, nothing. Right in front of the guys, too. Hey, Jared, what's up? Then you didn't say anything, and you know how that crowd is. Then I had to take heat. He didn't even say back, that whole thing. Tom seems so happy now that he's back doing the show, Gullerinos for Life. I'm really not that happy. I'm trying to appear happy to get more donations. I have to eat at the soup kitchen now, but it's worth it. I was there. I fell asleep. I'm sorry. Thanks for the membership, Terry. Yeah, that Terry Nee, you know, he might play the, you know, I got to tell you, Terry Nee is what we call a wrench or a moderator in every show on the internet. And all of the shows in the Dabbleverse, for sure. He mods them all. Fanboy. Terry is a good egg. He mods them all. There's a lot of shows that I'll drop in on for a second, and I see that Terry's a mod, and I know that one or more of the people that's their show hate me, and I know that all the fans of that show hate me, and I always wonder if I go in there and those other mods ban me, if Terry will unban me. SG Fanboy has gifted 5 Tom Gulley Show memberships. Well, my gosh, SG, that's above and beyond the call. Incidentally, SG, do you know how many people have told me that they absolutely love the Endgame Tony Stark Tom Gulley that you made in the song at the beginning of the show? They love it. They absolutely love it. Damn, 5 memberships. Reverend Wild Bill once unblocked. Well, Reverend Wild Bill should learn not to talk crap about people on other shows, like he doesn't think I'm watching or noticing, and then come back in here and want to be a big star. Don't you understand? H2BH, Sky, you didn't have to do that. Sky, you know what? I'm really going to get nerdy here with you on some of this tech stuff. I need to really up my learning curve on some of these things. I'm about to get knee deep in all that stuff. Fanboy is extremely talented, and Reverend Wild Bill will be fine. I'm sure he'll find other places where he can go and be the life of the party. But when I find somebody that's telling tale out of school on 4 or 5 times, then they need to be elsewhere. I don't cotton to that. Happy to help anytime. Well, good, because I need help anytime, all the time. And I will be in the VC shortly, because I have to make tomorrow's Black Widow Spider show stuff. And I also have to make a pizza. But tomorrow, what's the genus name and all that on this? Let me see here. History. Latrodectus. Or Latrodectus. Maybe it's Latrodectus. Well, why don't I just go get the official spelling, by God? Why don't I? Let's see here. Well, why don't you give me the actual spelling? What a bunch of hooey. me see if this will give it to me. Nope, it's not giving it to me. I'm just going to call it latrodectus. Latrodectus. You guys will see me. You don't see me prepping for this show. Tomorrow, right before the show, I'll be going latrodectus. Reverend Mobile told me you secretly love Penn State. Oh, no. No, my man. That would be inaccurate. I do not enjoy Penn State. I mean, I'm sure it's a fine institution of learning, but as far as sports and things, and that whole, do I have to mention the thing? Don't make me mention the thing, please. You know the thing. Not going to talk about the thing. Penn State used to be really good in soccer. I don't think they are as good anymore as they were. But then when they were good, Philadelphia Textile was good. I don't know if Terry Nee remembers Philadelphia Textile. Do you remember Philadelphia Textile? The old Philadelphia Textile. I guess is that Thomas Jefferson University now? Let me see here. I think it is Thomas Jefferson University. Formerly the Philadelphia College of Textiles and Science. Yeah. Well, let me see here. I'm sure not going to do a thing on them. Yeah, they were. This was back in the 80s. So, back in the old days. Women's soccer, what individual program, what men's sports national championship. They don't even include the men's soccer, and they used to be a power in men's soccer. What a bunch of hooey. Or Division II now. Everybody's talented. Soccer was a club in high school. All right. Oh, hey, it's getting to be about that time, kids. And still nobody used the link. Why do I even put the link up? Why am I even doing that? I'd be better off calling people on the phone myself randomly. Let's see. Yeah. Textile, soccer. History. There we go. Let's see what we got. Yes, history. Man, for producing many professional players. Many players from Philadelphia Textile went on to have professional careers in major leagues like Major League Soccer and the North American Soccer League. Yes, in 2014, the athletic conference from the university shifted from the Philadelphia College Sports Association to Central Atlantic College Conference. And part of this, they are now transitioning from Division I to Division II. Well, Division II, please. Oh, please. Division II? Don't make me laugh. Yeah, like the men's soccer team. Oh, they use cookies and other technology. Well, thank you for telling me. Let's see. Men's soccer. They made the NCAA tournament 69, 70, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, and then nothing till 88, and then 89, and then nothing until 2014. So, I'll tell you this, Indiana University, let's just see how many Indiana University. How many NCAA championships Indiana men's soccer? 8. And they've got a bunch of runner-ups, too, before. 82, 83, 88, 98, 99, 2003, 2004, 2012. It's about time. I think we were number 1 in the nation earlier this year. Then we got beat by Michigan. Now we're number 3. All right. By the way, I am going to be doing, probably right after the turn of the year, I will be doing another show, and you can find it. It's called, I did it for a little while, but I'm going to start doing it, and it's going to be 100% soccer. It's Tom Gulley's Unnecessary Sports Show. I don't know how many times a week it'll be on, if it'll just be on once a week or what the deal is, leading up to the World Cup, and then probably, during the World Cup, it'll be daily for sure. So I'll be doing that. And you will be thrilled. If you don't know anything about soccer, and it's going to be, just live this World Cup that's here this upcoming summer with me, please. Less than a year from now. It's in the United States and Mexico and Canada. But it's mostly in the United States and not so much in Mexico and Canada. Okay? Just please do it with me. Anybody got anything else? Because if not, I'm shutting this baby down like a house of ill repute on Main Street. And if you don't follow Tom Gulley's Unnecessary Sports Show when I relive it, when I revive it, excuse me, I hope you get the spoon of gloom. I should have Tom Dreesen on. Why should I have Tom Dreesen on? Don't tell him he's a big soccer fan and he knows even remotely as much as I do. I know more than any of these guys. The guy from Men in Blazers, the guy from Tactical Manager, all of these dudes that are on. One of them didn't know who Clint Mathis was, and I'm like, you're talking about American soccer and you don't know who Clint Mathis was? And another one said, what was it? ESPN has never had a guy that knew about, and I'm like, ESPN, you mean you don't know Bob Lee? He was worked for the Cosmos. He did NASL Weekly. He's a huge soccer guy. You dudes need to understand your history in this country. It didn't start when Christian Pulisic put on a pair of cleats. I know who Tom Dreesen is. I don't think I could get Tom Dreesen. Could I? Do you like how I threw the could I? Okay, hold on. Let me see something here real fast. Okay. Dang it. Okay, let me see. Oh, let me see if I can find something. All right. This is a place I used to get guests all the time, but they don't really have... Okay. Oh, the biggest sex myths and why they persist. Who was Christopher Columbus? Are ghosts real? A priest explains encounters from the other side. I kind of like both of those. What's your pet really thinking? Ask this animal psychic. Oh, Christ, I got to try and get that lady. All right, let's check these out. Number 3 is the biggest sex one. Sexual list. Oh, it's Justin Garcia, executive director of the Kinsey Institute at Indiana University. But it's a dude. No offense, folks, but I don't mind if the ghost guy's a dude. Just in time for Halloween, here's a segment about hauntings, ghosts, and spirits. Dominican priest Nathan Castle says ghost stories aren't make-believe. They are spiritual roadmaps. Here's how he has helped hundreds of people process near-death. Okay, well, I'll contact him. Let's get this other one. What was the other one that was at the end? Oh, the animal psychic. All right, Nancy. All right, I'm going to contact these people. See if I can get him. I don't know that I can get... you want me to try and get Ray DeVito? What would I talk to him about? Halloween? Surviving a car crash? Living in a basement with best friend's family? I don't know. Talk to him about. Anyway, hey, you know, I'm sensing, since nobody used the link, you know, that's about all I got for you on Crayola crayons. Tomorrow night is, of course, the Black Widow Spider. Many other Widow Spiders for those of you into widows. And I think the only thing really that's left to say is, till next time. Let's do it with the ring. Till next time. We'll see you next time.
We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking